everybody? It is Rocco, your boy, coming at you with another Age of Sigmar video. Yeah, that's right. You're still getting Age of Sigmar stuff from me, too. Uh, we got a battle scroll, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone else that wants to listen to me. Listen, go get your friend, your neighbor, your family dog. We're here right now. Battle scroll, Nullstone cache, finally dropped. We had some core rule updates as well, but this is the big ticket right here. This is the points increases that we've been waiting for my training arc. This is the rules updates we've been waiting for. How bad were the nerfs to cities? That's the thing I'm going with. How bad were the Deepkin nerfs if I wanted to pivot to my other competitive army? Let's find out. All right. So, as we can see here, and as we know, magenta is the new stuff. They've updated the Wizard Finder Battalion to actually be more useful because it gives you the units that are in there a 5-up ignore spells roll when you are the affected by a spell or an endless spell. This also would mean it's not an enemy's spell because endless spells are neutral. So it's just in general spells and endless spells when they would affect the unit. So if you wanted to buff your unit in the Wizard Finder Battalion, which was a foot hero and troops, not even a troop's choice. It's just, I believe, just non-mounted stuff. Well, you can't buff yourself with your own magic because on a 5-up you'll stop your own buff. So if you want to play that chance, go for it. But this battalion kind of has a use, and again, it's one of those things where it gives you an extra attack into enemy wizards. So if you're running into Zinch or Lumineth Realm Lords, this battalion was already good. Stormcast has some units of wizards. There are Underworld warbands that pop up and are annoying that have wizards in it. It's there. It's if we look at my predictions way back for this and what I was worried about too and how the meta would play out, this General's Handbook always felt like, again, my concern was, were they overdoing the mechanic of the season, which is the extra magic dice? Because Games Workshop sometimes underdoes or overdoes the correction mechanic. Like for all the monster stuff, we got Monstrous Rampages. Monsters were cool. You can score extra battle tactics with monsters. But on the flip side, you also got bonus points for killing monsters back in the day, right? So some armies that just never brought monsters would just score extra victory points for murdering monsters that were trying to play the General's Handbook. With this, the extra magic casting has been amazing, and the Nullstone stuff just honestly hasn't really been taken because even people are taking Wizards and Khorne. That's how you know the anti-magic stuff just hasn't really been doing good. And this is a step in the right direction, but I don't know that it's worth it because it only works against a few armies anyway. But, now that you have a spell ignore, if you want to go and put in like a bunch of Chosen in there, if you're like Slaves to Darkness, or like a big hitty infantry unit that you want to protect from enemy spells, if you're going against even a lot of Seraphon, I guess, just for that part of it, that's neat. Power Flex here, they changed scoring on it where if any enemy wizards were destroyed in the battle round, because there was a thing about if they were like killed in a turn, did it count? So they cleaned up some scoring on that. That's good. We like those changes. Okay. Hold on, did I scroll? Yeah, we're doing this. Here we go. We got there. Okay. Let's see. Malevolent Maelstrom. When it explodes, each unit within 9 inches of this endless spell suffers D3 mortal wounds. They changed Malevolent Maelstrom so it's a set range. That's fine. They changed. I might actually have to zoom in on this just for y'all to see this on my screen. They changed Hatred to Sorcery for Blades of Corn. Where they didn't change it, they added on to it. Where if you have a friendly unit casting a spell, you must roll the dice. On a 5-up, the spell is automatically bound. But on this, if it's a friendly unit that casts a spell, you do not generate a Blood Tithe point, so you can't just like keep bringing wizards in to try to generate Blood Tithe points this way yourself, which is smart. That makes sense. That, sure, it disincentivizes Khorne to take wizards, but if you really, really, really want to take Be'lakor, screw it, go ahead. There's no range to this as well, so that kind of sucks. Because it's friendly. So really, don't take wizards if you're playing Khorne, because you know how often you roll these 5 and 6 ups with Murder Lust and the spell ignores. This is actually going to be interesting in different like doubles events, or different team events that involve doubles, like Adepticon coming up soon, where like, you know, if you're doing the team theme of the 4 players are all playing a different Chaos God. Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch all really like to get their spells off, and they count as friendly units. So your Khorne player is going to be feeling really bad every time they must roll. Because there's some rules too where it's like you can, this is you must. So, oof, that's rough. So rough. The magic is messing with my my slide here. Nurgle, Sloppity Bile Piper got a change where the love is like a ripe fart. Is now -1 from hit rolls for attacks that target friendly Nurgle demon units. It used to be the you can't pile in, which led to a lot of negative play experiences. A lot of people were smartly using that rule to, again, tag out. So the idea was they'd have you like one model of yours out of a unit of like 20 of your guys in range of a unit affected by this. Only one of your models could swing, which just meant Nurgle could stand there and just laugh. And it just really it's a game mechanic that just stopped people from being able to play the game at all. And a great Nurgle player, again, would abuse that rule. A good Nurgle player, generally, it just kept them alive. -1 to hit is still really nice. Minuses to hit in this game don't stack. You know, the best you could ever get is -1, but if there's a bunch of pluses flying around, it'll cancel out like an all-out attack. It's useful. It's not what it was. You know? Beast of Chaos Gores and Zangors getting their range increased to 2 inches is fantastic. Skaven, they adapted a battle tactic to say you complete this battle tactic at the end of the turn if 2 or more friendly Skaven units retreated this turn. Nice and easy battle tactic for the Skaven. This is yeah, that's great. That's what Skaven do. They run away. They retreat. The Greyseer on Bell stayed the same because it deleted the push to battle. Plague Monks getting bumped up to a size of 20. I've heard some mixed reviews from Skaven players. Some love it because you can now run a unit of 60 and super buff them with Death Frenzy and Dreaded Death Frenzy and did whatever else. And you've got a block of 60 with the staves that can just delete something. And other people that like taking minimum sizes of 10 to act as very cheap screens for if you're going Pestilence, and having one of the command models in there has a prayer book that can do mortal wounds to people. So you would take like 4 or 5 of them just to be like, cool, mortal wounded you, you're dead, your hero's dead. Mortal wound, your hero's dead. So prepare for hordes of Plague Monks, and watch out for horde clearing spells if you're playing Skaven. Slaves to Darkness here. Demon Princes got a glow up where they finally after years of no one wanting to take them. Nobody wanted the dreaded apotheosis on the Eye of the Gods table to actually turn their hero into a demon prince because demon princes just sucked. Now have a lot more attacks and can actually do something. And Zinch, their Zangors got their 2-inch reach as well. A bunch of units in this got 2-inch reach, which is very nice. It's just more of a quality of life thing back from when we had the General's Handbook, where it was a rule where, again, if you were an infantry model, you could have 2-inch reach. Which is nice. I know my Deepkin Thralls love having 2-inch reach, and I'd rather more people be able to play more infantry builds, because that's the cool thing of us having a big horde of models running at each other and doing this. You know, as much as I love cavalry myself, let the infantry have some fun. And also, there's a change to have blue horrors and brimstone horrors in Tzeentch be battle line units, which is really cool. And it makes me wonder what I want to do for my Adepticon thing, because I am playing Tzeentch in that. And I could fit in an endless spell that way. If I, downgrade some of my screens to that. But I'm like, I don't know. Brimstones die horrifically anyway. But for 80 points, that's dying pretty cheap. Okay, going down. Again, good change. Reasonable change. Grand Alliance Order. God, there's so many. Alright, Stormcast. Vanquishers get 2-inch reach on the Celestial Greatswords. Why is that cool? Vanquishers and Stormcast, as a Stormcast player and lover, do not have a role besides being cheap. Their whole thing was they were supposed to be horde clearing, battle line infantry. There are other units that you were taking already that could do that job. Whether it's from shooting, whether it was from cool heavy cavalry on the Dracoth riders, or just things that already had a bunch of attacks. There was no reason except that they were the cheapest possible battle line to take. And what was cool was they have a thing. They were one of the first units in the game to get a 5-up rally built into them. But because you were taking them to be cheap battle lines so you could afford more expensive units that did cooler things and lasted longer, you're only taking them in 5, so the 5-up rally never really came up. This now lets them have, their double reinforcement, a unit of 15 of them with 2-inch reach, having their attacks go to, I think it's 4 attacks each when they attack a unit with 10 or more models. So 15 times 4 is 60, plus 1 for an extra for the champ. That's a lot. At 3's neg 1 damage. That's a lot. All of a sudden, that goes into plague monks or plague sensor bearers really well. And when a bunch die on the swing back from death frenzy, whatever, you can rally a bunch back, and they're 2 wounds each, so at most you can rally 5 back. But that's a third of the unit. That they work. I'm just gonna jump over to the right here with Seraphon. Starborn command traits got changed, so it's just the first time each phase that this general either successfully casts a spell that is not unbound, successfully unbinds, or successfully dispels an endless spell, you receive 2 cosmic power points instead of 1. Trying to limit the summoning potential of Starborn, Kroxigor, Warspawn, regular Kroxigor and Kroxigor Warspawn all go up to 5 wounds, which is great because they count as 2 models on an objective. They, Kroxigor are a good unit in a book surrounded by great units. It's the Doomfire Warlock problem in Daughters of Cain. A lot of armies would love to have Kroxigor in them. Or, that same stat block put on something, reskinned to be the flavor of whatever. So having them go to 5 wounds at least so they can count as 2 models on an objective when they're like an elite heavy infantry thing. They're better than trolls in that sense. but they don't have the ward. But there's buffs if you have skinks around. It's a multi-step thing that takes them from meh to pretty good in a book where a lot of things are just great to start with. So it opens up another avenue to play if you wanted to play them. They are definitely playable. The Cities of Sigmar nerf, it came, Blazing Weapons was changed to affect just melee weapons, not melee and shooting. Though we did stay with it's an additional mortal wound in addition to any damage it inflicts. I'm not mad at that at all. We knew it was coming. I can tell you though, out of my games now, even the ones that I haven't recorded, like on the Rocco training arc, I generally didn't spike my sixes except for like one game, maybe two. Eh, it's just it did enough. The funny part was when it did spike. Like I'm thinking my Flesh Eater Courts game that I covered, where it did the time it spiked, it screwed me out of battle tactics. And to me, this just changes what I'm shooting with my Fusiliers. Where, I'm not. If I'm shooting Ushar and Dead with them, things have gone wrong, and my target priority is desperate, right? What Fusiliers are shooting Dead for a respectable point cost they have are screens, other shooting units, and they will be backed by my Alchemite Warforger still, who will just now be radiating the +1 to save aura, which makes my castle more defensible. And the 5 wounds that I would have gotten per shooting the unit, because again, like there's Return Fire, there's Unleash Hells. That would be like 15, 20 mortal wounds I'm not getting over the course of a turn or a battle round. I have other things to do that damage that still take advantage of this in melee. Maybe eventually a unit of Cavaliers slip in. Maybe I do downgrade Belthanos to a Griffin so I can fit some more things. I'm liking still the Cav Marshal with Cavaliers for around that same points cost. I just still need to get a Cavalier Marshal because I have a friend that's very lovingly painting one for me as a gift. And it's on its way eventually, and I'm excited. Again, this is the ethos of the internet. When that happens, it happens. And I'm okay with the change. This should have been a lot worse, in my opinion. Lumineth, we don't care. Nothing new. Daughters of Cain, that's fine. Food Thin! Bloodthirsty Shivers are 6s, automatically wound the target. Again, this is just unmodified hit roll, so this affects their shooting and their melee, which I think is a mistake. I think it should have been exploding hits of a 6 in melee, not in shooting. The Sharks are bloodthirsty, not the Riders, but hey, what do I know? I only run a bunch of Sharks, but I do it in Nautilus because, meh. And again, auto wounding, it's still nice. It just takes the potential spiking of it. It just makes it more consistent damage that a Shark is going to output like 10 wounds, or I'm pulling a number up, but it's like, cool, my Shark could go from like 4 wounds to like, with exploding hits, like, 18. But, really consistently, if it didn't explode, it could be like a 12, and I know that I'm going to, between shooting and melee, I'm going to probably do 12 damage. And it allows you to be like, cool, where do I input this 12 damage? What do I need gone? Where do I plug it into my list and my ideas? It's nice. Eidolon, Mathland, Sea of Terror, Tsunami of Terror. It's the spellcasting Eidolon. There was a change where unless it says specifically in the ability, you cannot stack it on the same unit multiple times, which is a nerf to the command core. It's in the core rules now, so we're stuck with that. So a lot of different units that have rules where you used to be able to stack stuff is gone now, and it's broken in not a fun way. But to compensate, the aspect of the sea got its spell range increased to 18 inches. And value 7 is very good. Pick up to 3 enemy units within range invisible to the caster, -1 from save rolls, which is something you want in Deepkin, because then your Ren 1 stuff feels like it's Ren 2. And Fire Slayers got extra range on their Berserkers with hand axes and sling shields, which they needed. Night Haunt, again, Tomb Blades on the Revenants, the Harridans, and the Stalkers with the Glaives, the Harridans with the Scythe Limbs, all get extra range. They all fight in 2 ranks, is functionally what that means. And it means that Horde units that you wanted to take these in anyway all of a sudden become more relevant. So that's a great buff. Bone Reapers, Null Myriad here is it changes to a 4-up spell ignore. And that's fine. What this functionally is going to mean is they were hard, along with Khorne, were hard countering Seraphon to keep them at a respectable high 50s win rate. That wasn't necessarily out of bounds with how the game design's supposed to work, right? They were a counter. Moving it from like a 2-up where you just fully ignore the thing to a 4-up, making it a coin flip 50-50. You remove the reliability, which for competitive play is what you build around. Null Myriad should not be dead because of this change. Unfortunately, because it'll still work. Hell, if you pair it up with the Wizard Finder Battalion too, there's nothing saying that I could see at least, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but there's nothing here saying you couldn't use this and then use the Wizard Finder Battalion on your Mortis guard. So it shouldn't be dead, but people probably are going to look for the easier, more reliable thing to play this with. It's like Sharks. They're not dead. They're just more reliable and they don't spike as high. But that just means instead of swinging high and then swinging low because you didn't roll any 6s to hit, it's just, cool, you got a bunch of wounds through. Okay. Whereas this, it is less reliable and, you know, you have to work around that. Okay, Soul Blight, nothing. We go to this battle tactic here, so there's something. Pick one friendly summonable unit within 3 inches of an enemy unit, or any enemy units. You complete this tactic if any enemy models were slain by that friendly unit this turn. That friendly unit is within 3 inches of any friendly. Pick one friendly summonable unit within 3 inches of any enemy unit. So you're already in combat. Pick a unit that's summonable and it's skeletons, it's zombies, it's Graveguard. Kind of a deal. You complete this battle Black Knights and the Bats too, probably. You complete this tactic if any enemy models are slain by that friendly unit this turn, and that friendly unit is within 3 inches of any enemy units at the end of this turn. So you're in combat. You're grinding in combat. You kill a model in combat, and you end the turn still in combat. I mean, that's what vampire armies here in Soulblight Gravelords want to do. They want to grind through combats and tie people up. That's cool. Okay, going into Destruction. This is where some nerfs happened. Okay. For Big Wah, let's lay some things down here. Big Wah, the idea was you'd have easy access to all the battle tactics of all the other factions of orcs. Right? Where there were you had Cruel Boys units use Cruel Boy tag. You got Bone Splitters use Bone Splitter tag. You've got whatever, you use whatever. They've changed it so that for Cruel Boys tactics. If you want to use Cruel Boy's battle tactics, your general has to be a Cruel Boy's general for you to use it. And same thing with Iron Jaws. The Iron Jaw battle tactic has to have you have to have an Iron Jaws general that you picked to be your general. That's the other thing. You have to pick the model to be your general. It's not like you could have a war master where it or whatever it's called, where it's like a named hero that's like, oh, I'm the general, even if I'm not picked to be the general kind of deal. You have to pick your general. So if you want to have access to the Cruel Boy's battle tactic in Big WoW, congrats, you have a Cruel Boy general. Which is a reasonable nerf because, again, there's armies like, again, Tzeentch and Big WoW here, where it's like, cool, here's 5 battle tactics set in my grand strategy. Let's roll dice to see who starts turn 1. Now you don't have as many immediately doable battle tactics. Welcome back to Earth, bud. And then, geez, this is just all war clans here. Alright, the Maw Grunter with Hackin' Crew, the Tusk Boss, the Gougers, makes it easier for you to maintain unstoppable momentum because it's at the end of the battle round, not the end of the turn. Yeah. That works. That's fine. Make them more reliable. Again, we like reliability here, and we like having our cool new toy, Unstoppable Momentum, on the big pigs. And finally, Wrath of Titans, Earth-Shaking Roar. So, this was mentioned, but it just hasn't been fixed yet. This is to stop issue or receive command abilities. It's a roar. It's a 3-up. You get a roar on a 1 or a 2. You also make a model flee. Sorry. Okay. Pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. On a 3-up, that unit cannot issue or receive. That's commands, not orders. In the following combat phase, it says orders. It's supposed to be like in my heart and my soul, and the fact that I saw Halo talking about this and other people talking about this, it's supposed to be commands. Cool. So you roar, right? It's a second roar under a new thing, so you can do one of your Mega Gargants doing a regular roar, then this one can do this roar. In addition, if the first roll was successful and that enemy unit has a wounds characteristic of a 1 or a 2, roll 2d6. If that roll is higher than the unit's bravery, for each point by which you exceed the unit's bravery, one model in that unit flees. I have a bravery 5. You roll a 10. I lose 5 models. The unit command... So, your opponent will get to choose which models flee, and this isn't considered to be a battle shock test. Yeah. Giving them a second roar is nice. Points changes. There are a lot of them. I will link this document to the description of the video. We are looking at the, for me personally, I'm looking at my Cities of Sigmar stuff, where the steam tanks I don't use went up 20, the Great Cannon went down 10. I'm almost tempted about it. I'm not going to lie. There's a world where Great Cannons get cheap enough that I don't look at Fusiliers because Great Cannons do a similar enough damage profile for cheaper. The Warforger went down 10 back to 100 points because, honestly, the Mortal Wound thing not happening is huge. So it needed to go down. The Command Corps went up 30. My Wilder Corpse Hunters that I've been using very effectively, I guess other people haven't been taking the unit, went down 10. Thalia, the amazing new centerpiece model that I'm not taking either, went down to 300. Like, that could be a way for me, too, is get her over Belthanos, but I just love Belthanos so much. Ooh, we need to go and check Sylvaneth here and see if they ate it. But looking at this right now, the Warforger going down 10, the Wilder Corpse Hunter's going down 10, and the Free Guild Command Corps going up 30. That's a difference of 10 points. And my list was 1980. My list stays legal. We did it. We survived the nerf. That's huge. Let's go. Keep looking at this real quick, though. Deepkin. My list certainly had a unit or two of the Schlayan Guard going down 10 points. That's great. Morsar Guard going down 10 is great, too, because they needed the change. Caradron Overlords. What sins have you been committing? As well as Flesh Eater Courts looking good. Zinch looking good. Jade Obelisk. I am running a unit of 10 of them. Going down 10 points. That's interesting. My 1,000-point list for the tournament for the doubles thing is now 970 instead of 980. I can't fit an endless spell, but again, we'll see what's up. Bunch of War Clan stuff going down in points. Maw Grunter, Gouges, the Big Pig stuff all going down a lot of points. Gordrak going down points. Ardboy, Big Boss, the brand new model that looks great going down. Lots of good points. Ardboy's going down 200. Nighthaunt stuff. The Heroes going down points. Warlock the Drowner, I like taking. Dagash is just doing whatever. Where are you, Sylvaneth? Alariel, the Everqueen going down. Everyone's going down. Gladeworm's down by 10. That's... I might throw a Gladeworm in my Sylvaneth army. Stormcast getting great points reductions as well. Skaven getting a lot of points reductions. Thankful on Bone Ripper being 400 points is absolutely absurd. And now he's in ally range. Watch out for that. Let's go down here. Sons of Behemoth getting points decreases. That's awesome. Archeon the Everchosen going down 40 points. And Plague Monks, again, that plus 90 isn't... They were 90 points for 10. Don't freak out that it's 180 for 20. That's just adjusting the new size. Plague Sensor Bear's going up. That's great. Greyseer going up, sure, on Screaming Bell. Greyseer on foot going down. So many good points reductions. And just real quick, too, Seraphon being a big offender here. Monster Seraphon and the Ripperdactyls and the Pterodon Riders. All that going down in points while the Star Master, the Skink Starseer, Croak, and the Astrolith Bearer, who's in every list, because you'd be silly not to take one going up points. I mean, functionally, that's just like they lose an endless spell in their list out of the 3 they're taking, or like a unit of Skinks. I don't know that that's actually going to be enough to matter for Seraphon, especially summoning Seraphon, where they just won't care. Because they'll just summon back the unit of Skinks they're not bringing initially. But overall, again, I like these changes. I like that my list only went up 10 points at the end of the day. And I think that means I need to start looking for tournaments. What about you, dear viewer? Are you excited about this? Comment about it below. Did you get a nerf? Did you get a buff? Like the video. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, everybody. Be nice, roll some dice, and we'll see you next time. Bye.